We spend decades saving for retirement. We even plan how we will retire to our upcountry homes, holiday homes, how we will travel the world, how we'll enjoy a holiday that is non-ending. But have you ever asked yourself, will you be strong enough to enjoy this retirement? I want you to think of your health as a bank account. Every time you exercise, you eat healthy, you're putting deposits into the bank account and it's growing. And just like a bank account, it can grow with compound interest. Every time you skip your exercise, you eat industrial foods, or you gorge on junk, you're making a withdrawal from your health pension. Today's video is special. Of course, as you can tell, I'm dressed a bit differently. This is a tribute to my mother. This kind of outfit is common in East Africa, especially Tanzania and Kenya, and it's called leso. It's made from leso, and it usually has a message. Mine has a message for my mother. I don't know that you can read. Paka kiama sitamsahau mama. In English, this translates roughly to, up to the end, I will not forget my mother. So, Mom, I know you watch these videos, I'll not forget you. And somebody, if you know her, please tag her. So maybe more often I will do this as a tribute to my mother. It was also, the material itself was given to me by somebody who considers me a mother figure. And I'm proud of our heritage. So for most people who are employed or are working, the biggest investment is usually the home. I know there are exceptions to this, but for most people, they aspire to, if they took a mortgage, they have finished paying off their loans or the mortgage for the house, or if they were building, they have finished building the house and they don't have any debts on the house. So many times the home ends up being the biggest financial investment most people make during their working lives. So as you prepare to retire, I want you to ponder, what is your biggest health investment? So get yourself a cup of tea, maybe a glass of water, relax, pen and paper, and let's discuss this together. My name is Nancy. I make videos about better living, especially with a focus on better health, weight loss, fitness, and general day-to-day living. Especially I want to inspire that older person, especially that older woman, who can have valuable life and an enjoyable one in retirement. You know, retirement can last a few months if you're blessed to reach it, or it can last 30, 40 years. If you've been following my channel, you see that I'm heading into retirement. I'm in my 50s. And I began to reflect on what is, or how shall I prepare for this retirement? Is it just wealth in the bank, or do we need to invest in health in the body? So today, we'll do a bit of a different video. Normally, I do videos on weight loss and exercise, but today I want us to reflect on what I'm calling the health pension. And this is so that we can head into retirement strong and healthy. So I want you to think of the health pension as a bank account. If you make withdrawals, the balance goes down. If you make deposits, the balance goes up. Just like money, it will grow with time or decline with time. So even if you are younger, I urge you to start doing these things, and or to encourage your parents or grandparents to do these things. They will really pay. And am I doing these things that I'm encouraging you to do or tell your parents and grandparents to do? Yes, I am. You've seen me. I do bodybuilding. I do weightlifting here. I do it in the gym. I run. I also do good nutrition. I know many of us are very busy building the financial security for retirement. And for this reason, you'll find that especially there are very many people of African descent in the West who are working 2 or 3 jobs. Probably if you live in the motherland, that's in Africa, you're probably doing 1 job. But if you are in the West, in countries like Europe, the countries in Europe like the UK or in the US, you're probably doing 2 or 3 jobs just to make ends meet, save some money and build your retirement home or buy your retirement home in America or in Africa. In my part of the world, most people who are working have 2 homes. Often it's the urban home, which is in the city. A good number manage to buy these homes, but a good number rent them. But almost everybody has a rural home in my part of the world. And these rural homes are normally in the villages or in the countryside, where they're planning to retire and spend the rest of their days. For those who actually buy urban homes, some of them actually rent them out and they get like a monthly cash flow from these urban homes. And sometimes it's quite handsome money because in some big cities, this can be the equivalent of 500, 1,000, or even 3,000 US dollars. So that's quite a lot of money to get every month as a source of income in retirement. And then you find that many of the Africans in diaspora end up with 3 homes. They have a home mostly in the UK or in the US. Then they have another home in the city like Lagos or Nairobi. And then they have a village home. So we work so hard, we are investing in these homes. It is indeed a good thing, especially for financial security. And you really don't want to be homeless in your retirement. And even lately, we have a number of African Americans who are opting to retire in Africa. A number are moving to countries like Ghana, Nigeria, and Kenya, among others. Generally, at the moment, Ghana and Kenya are very popular destinations for Africans who want to retire in Africa. But we also have many who are retiring out of the US into the Latin American countries like Panama and so on. So we really do plan well for our financial well-being in retirement. But how do you plan for your health in retirement? Yes, for sure, you probably have a policy, a kind of medical cover, which you maybe began contributing to before you retired. And as much as we don't want to face it, most of the times, as we age, we become a little bit more prone to being sick. And the last few years are sometimes marked by the last few years to retirement are often marked by ill health. Or this ill health begins 5 to 10 years after retirement. Definitely, most people who have been retired for about 10 years have one health challenge or another. If you talk to them, they'll tell you they're taking medicine for high blood pressure, they're taking medicine for diabetes, they're taking medicine for some heart condition, and one thing or the other. So I want you to think of the typical 70-year-old. So a picture of the typical grandmother or grandfather comes to your mind. They probably already are beginning to have what we call sarcopenia. That is, their muscles are beginning to waste away. They look like they're shriveling up. Have you seen your parent or grandparent with that look of where their muscles are shriveling away? That is sarcopenia. They probably are weak. They're beginning not to be able to do too much for themselves. Maybe they've even started bending. They may not yet be supporting themselves with a walking stick, but you can surely see they're heading there. It's also in this period that many begin to experience osteoporosis. This is where your bones are weak, they are brittle, they can break very easily. And you'll find that the hip fractures or the fractures of this long bone of the thigh become common in this age group. And sometimes some statistics show that 1 out of 3 people who have this kind of fracture in their retirement may not recover. or may not return to full functionality. I'm sure you've heard it. My joints are just paining. Your grandmother or your mother or even yourself who's watching this video, their joints are just paining. You built a big home in the village or in another city, and now can you walk upstairs? You can't walk upstairs. You're beginning to think, what do I do with this big house? How do I sleep upstairs? You planned to travel the world, but you can't walk uphill. So is there something we can do about this? Definitely, there's something we can do about this to slow it down or even to completely avoid it. The trick is to start early. And the first thing I can tell you from experience is to build muscle. Muscle, that is the amount of muscle you have, is a predictor of how well and how long you will live. I know, don't think of muscle in terms of the big person or who is an Olympic champion in weightlifting or bodybuilding. Think of muscle in a more realistic manner in which you too can build that muscle. Because building muscle will enable you to age better, live longer, and age strong. So, the same way most of us consider buying a home, the foundation of our financial security in retirement. I want to challenge you. I'm from the school of thought that building muscle is the foundation of your health in retirement. Please give this video a like and just subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. So how do you build muscle? Muscle, you will build it by doing what we call strength training or weight training, or even more simply, weightlifting. And this doesn't have to be hard. Some of these things you can do in your own homes. For example, I have these things here. So I have this weight, which I can adjust the size. This one I can do a number of exercises in my home. This 7 kilos. I have this one. This one is homemade. This is store-bought. This one is homemade. It's 12 kilos. This one is 35 kilos and it's homemade. So it doesn't have to be expensive. You can buy them in a local store. You can also make them at home. So why do we need to build muscle? Muscle loss actually begins in your 30s. So you, that young person who is watching me, because I know many of you young people watch me, who is thinking I'm talking to your parents or your grandparents. No, I'm talking to you. Muscle loss begins in your 30s and they're estimated to lose between 5 to 10% of your muscle per decade. So that's like every 10 years. So this means by the time you get to 70 years, you've probably lost maybe 30, what's 30? Yeah, maybe 30% of your muscle loss. Sorry, of your muscle mass. So it really means you are already on the downward trajectory. So if you're young, or if you're not so young, begin building muscle today. So one of the questions I'm asked quite often, can seniors lift weights? Who are seniors? I'm talking to you who is already in your 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. Yes is the answer, but this has to be done correctly. What I will say is that if you're lifting weights for the first time, make sure you're working with a competent trainer who will show you how to lift the weights correctly. Because you must have the right form or posture, otherwise you can injure yourself. And then the weight also must be age and size appropriate or weight appropriate for your size. So I will say start probably with a trainer who maybe in a couple of months will have taught you. Once you've learned, you can now do it at home like me here. And weightlifting is a skill you learn. It's just like driving. If you start driving on the highway at 100 miles per hour and you've never been to a driving school, is it dangerous? Definitely. So let us make weightlifting safe by learning to do it correctly, get the correct training, And then now you can proceed either in the gym or at home. For myself, I like to work out at home and also in the gym. So I do both. When I want to lift really heavy, that one I have to do it in the gym where they have machines that are optimized for that. These machines are optimized in such that if the weight is too heavy, it can't fall on you. It will just spring back up. Or I do it at home when I have somebody else, a family member or a friend who is also watching over me. So it can be done. I have seen 70, 80, 90-year-olds lifting weights. So there's no magic about it. You just need to learn and to start. So the second most important parameter I think we need to invest in as we go to retirement, or I call it maybe the second pillar of your health pension, is your VO2 max. VO2 max. This means the maximum volume of oxygen that your body can use during exercise. It's also a measure of how well your lungs are working. Or in another language, we can say it's a measure of your aerobic fitness. Again, just like muscle loss, your VO2 max begins to decline from the age of 30 or about there. And you lose about 1% of your aerobic fitness per year. So again, by the time you get to retirement, you've already lost about maybe 30% or more. But you can do something about it. You can do aerobic exercise, and you have to start where you are. For instance, really, if you've never exercised your whole life, then you really can't do this kind of exercises that people do. So start where you are. You can start by walking. And if you're like me, I started by walking 1 kilometer. That's like 0.6 miles. And then you can progress to a mix of running and walking. So you run like maybe 100 meters, you walk 100 meters. And then you can proceed on to high intensity interval training, where you run as hard as you can, and then you walk or relax until your heart rate comes down. Once you have the energy, you sprint again as fast as you can. This is a very important exercise. Even if you are 40, 50, 60, even 80, you can do these things. Of course, if you're able to reach the elite level of the athletes, you can also do the Norwegian 4x4 protocol, where you sprint as hard as you can for like 4 minutes. And then now you walk for like 4 minutes, and then like that 4 times. So if you get there, that's great. If you can't, start where you are. The third pillar, according to my opinion of your health pension, or what a healthy pension should be, is nutrition. This sounds rather obvious. Probably by the time you're retiring, your children have left home, so you can cook what you want, you can eat when you want. But really, it doesn't mean that we lose trail. And even if you haven't yet retired, you need to begin to invest now in your nutrition. Develop the good habits now. For example, just stay away from the high-calorie industrial foods, especially. Let's focus on eating nutrient-dense foods. What are the nutrient-dense foods? I'm thinking of fresh fruits, fresh vegetables, whole foods like potato. I'm thinking of beans. And I'm saying that stay away from industrial foods. You know, these foods that come in boxes and have been preserved to stay on the shelf for years, they're not really for your own good. That is somebody's financial agenda. They are building their own financial empire. And I can tell you these multi-million companies will entice you with those foods. Sometimes you even wonder, what food is this? It is something that's in a packet. It's different colors. You can't tell where it grew from. Even if I was to show it to my grandmother, they can't even tell me whether it's something for eating or soap for washing or anything to throw away. And then, importantly, apart from keeping away from industrial foods, you need to watch your carbohydrates as you age. Because it's usually in this age group of retirees or those about to retire that you begin to have lifestyle diseases crop up. And most of them are due to excess sugar in your blood. So you will need to watch your carbohydrate portion. What is the recommended? This amount, a feast. And if you really want to be healthy, you may even have to reduce it to half a feast per meal. And then you have to watch the time you are eating. You can't be eating these high dense carbohydrates in the night just before you sleep. So as you reduce your carbohydrates, also up your proteins. Because one of the things is that you find that as we grow older, our bodies do not use protein so well, yet that is what they need to build muscle. So as you grow older, please invest in your proteins. I know protein is expensive, especially in my part of the world, but I always say you'll need to either choose to pay money for protein or pay money for medicine. I don't know which one is easier for you. So where am I now on this health pension? My own journey did not begin until I was 51. That's like slightly over 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago. And to be really honest, at the time of starting my journey of the health pension, I wasn't thinking about pension or retirement in my 60s, 70s, and beyond. At that time, my focus was just to get the sugar out of my blood. So I really focused on running. And later, I went on to do weightlifting because after losing weight, removing the sugar from my blood, having normal blood sugar, no diabetes or anything, I didn't like the way I looked. So I started lifting weights to look better. And now I've realized every time I eat sensibly, it's a deposit into my bank account. Every time I run or do a gym workout or weightlift, it's another deposit into my bank account. Just like a bank account will have the big deposits and the small deposits, we'll have short-term deposits and long-term deposits. What I can say is that I urge you to invest in a health pension, because after you save all this money for retirement and then you get to retirement, you're too ill, too weak to enjoy it. You can't even go on that vacation you planned. Those holidays or vacations you planned and saved for, you can't go, you're too ill to go. What will it benefit you? So start investing in your health pension today. If you are retired, it's not too late, because now you have all the time. You can actually even go to the gym for 3 hours. You can walk half the day. It's one of the best things to do. So if you're already retired, it's not too late. You can do something and you have the advantage of time, unlike the people who are doing 2-3 jobs or climbing the corporate ladder. If this video inspired you, please just give the video a like, subscribe if you haven't, and look at the other videos on this channel. I want you to share in the comment section one of your health deposits into your retirement account. What I'm saying is that tell us one of the health or healthy practices you carry out in building your health pension. Let us aim to age strong and healthy so that we enjoy our financial pension. And see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.